Hey guys, Andy here. So we're taking a look today at the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. And I guess that's probably the first thing to be very clear about. This is the Xiaomi Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. And I'm saying it like that because there's the Redmi Note 10, there's the Redmi Note 10 Pro. I think there's even the Redmi Note 10 5G and the Redmi Note 10S, I think. But this is the Redmi Note 10 Pro Max. So let's this one is the 6 gig 128 gig storage version. Well, I hope it is. I bought it on eBay, which is not generally my recommended or preferred way of purchasing devices, but this one is not, the Note 10 is not available through the Mi store in the UK as yet. So I feel like I'm taking a bit of a risk. Even then, I normally prefer to use one of the sort of online stores, even like AliExpress even perhaps, but preferably something like Wonder Mobile. So, okay, I mean that's upside down, but I'm hoping that's not it. And that even looks a little second hand at this point. Turn around. So there's it's quite a nice looking back at the moment, but we'll come back for sort of more detail in a second. So we've got a case in the box as well, some eject tool obviously. What else have we got in here? So the charging brick in whatever format it was, like European, I don't know, yeah, whatever it is, not much use to me. That's fine. I wasn't really planning on using it, to be honest. And it's going to be a Type C, I guess. And I think that's all we've got in the box, which is fine. I don't tend to even use the stuff you get in the box anyway. So I'll probably just charge it off my regular charging brick. So we can put that aside. So there's quite a weight to that already, to be fair. And it is 192 grams. I do like the feel of in fact I like the look. Is that a case? Is that, no? Oh, that's just, oh wow, that's the camera, okay. So, that sticker, I'll have to give that a good proper, remove the sticker remnants, but I really like the look of that back. Kind of it's not even pearlescent, I don't know what you call it, it's kind of just a matte white, cool, cold white. That's really nice. It's quite a, should we just call it significant camera bump? It's almost like a double bump, in fact. Can you see that? So the first bump being the sort of clear, whatever that is, with the flash on, I guess. And then the next bump with the actual lenses. SIM tray at the top there. Or headphone jack, I think. Looks like an IR blaster and I think a speaker. And we've got the volume rocker, the power button. I think the fingerprint sensor is somewhere on the side there as well. Then speaker, USB Type C and the mic down the bottom there. That's actually, I think that's a really nice design. If you haven't seen my unboxes before, I go in, I'm just going to get the power booting up while I'm talking perhaps. Hopefully. There we go. If you haven't seen my unboxings before, I go in relatively blind. I don't know a great deal about them. The reason, so I've not done an Android hardware, device review in a while, as I'm sure some people will probably point out to me. I've done a lot of cycling stuff recently. But I've just not seen a phone that's kind of taken my fancy. I don't make enough money from this channel. I don't have Patreons. It's not like I can go just buying up every device that comes out. I've got to be quite selective because I'm buying them with my own money. and nothing really grabbed me. But there seemed to be quite a bit of a hubbub. There's quite a bit of talk about the Note 10. I often use GSM Arenas on the front page. It says kind of a, I forget what they call it. It's like most searched devices, and I keep an eye on that to see if anything sort of pushes its way up to the top there. And the Note 10 was doing that, and then I was looking at these different, which do I get? And I thought I wanted the Note 10 Pro, and I actually didn't realise there was a Max, and I thought the eBay seller just kind of like throw it on there to make it sound better, but there is actually a Max. But yeah, so that's why I thought, well, let's give this a go. So as you can see here, it is MIUI 12, which is basically based off Android 11. And I will go through properly setting it up momentarily, I suppose, really. We've not got a SIM card. In fact, I'll come back to that in a second. So if we look at some of the other hardware aspects, I can tell you it's a Qualcomm Snapdragon SM7150, well, Qualcomm SM7150 Snapdragon 732G, which is an 8nm chipset. So it's quite new, but it's kind of the mid-range. It's an octa-core CPU. It's an Adreno 618, and this model comes in 64 gig with 6 gig RAM, 128 gig with 6 gig RAM, that's what this is, and the 128 gig with 8 gig of RAM. And interestingly, it has an actual, I think, dedicated, well, it says in the spec sheet, dedicated micro SD card slot, which is probably still in the SIM tray, I'm guessing. The screen is Super AMOLED, 120 Hz, HDR10, 6.7 inches, which is 1080 by 2400, which is a 20:9 ratio, which is quite a long, elongated ratio. It's about 395 pixels per inch, and the screen to body ratio is about 85.7. You can see it does have a pinhole camera at the top, and then, I mean, relatively small bezels all the way around the outside. We'll mention the cameras. So it's got a 108 megapixel f1.9 regular wide angle. It's got an 8 megapixel f2.2 ultra wide angle. It's got a 5 megapixel f2.4 macro, and then it's got a 2 meg f2.4 depth sensor. The front facing camera is 16 megapixel f2.5 regular wide angle. The battery is a LiPo 5020 milliamp hour battery, but the sort of key selling point is its 33 watts fast charging, which they say can do 60% charge in 30 minutes or 100% charge in an hour and 15, which is pretty quick. Right, so at this point, I'm going to get logged in, I'll get a few things installed, I'm probably going to have me lunch as well, and then I'll come back and we'll just kind of have a little bit of a play and get the first impressions. So I'll be back in a moment. Okay, so I've been through the kind of the setup procedure. I've got a couple of bits installed. In fact, I've just finished, literally just finished running Geekbench 5, and I can see it scored 1,683, which is kind of normal, I suppose, for a device with that kind of chipset, this kind of price range. That's normal. I think it's more important what the device feels like in use, and actually it feels quite a slick and smooth device. But let's have a look at some of the other aspects. So so all that to demonstrate that I think actually the screen and the speakers are really good. If you're wanting this device as a kind of a media consumption, as like a Netflix or Plex consumption device, it seems pretty good. The screen seems very nice. The speakers seem quite loud. Obviously, for my full review, I'll get the sound meter out, we'll see what kind of volume it hits. But actually it sounds just generally quite a well-rounded sound. There seems to be a little bit of bass in there, as good as you're going to get on a small mobile phone like this. Let's have a look at the camera, I suppose. The camera app in MIUI these days is fairly standard, fairly sort of stock looking. The lens, I have been outside and taken a few pics, but just to show you how quick the shutter is, if I can get everything on the screen. That's pretty quick, I think. That's pretty fast. It felt reasonably responsive. And the images, they look pretty good, I would say. Did a little bit of video. And again, there's much more detail to come in the actual full review. But I think it's quite promising. It's very early days and it's quite good condition, so we'll see what it's like when it gets a bit lower light or things like that. But yeah, because the camera is often the weaker point on a device that's around this £265 mark. And again, wait for the review to really see and hear my thoughts on how good it is. But I think early indications, I can understand why everyone is saying that this is kind of the budget device that should be on your radar right now. I really like that, the design of it basically, I suppose. I will be doing other videos. I've still got one of the other, what was it, is it the Poco X3 or is it M3? I forget. There was another Poco device around this price bracket. I'm going to enjoy putting those head to head to see actually which one is the better device. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure you do to see videos like that. I'll throw some sample footage out there as well from the video camera. There'll be various different things, as well as obviously the main review, which will probably come in the next week. I'm off work this week, so I've got lots of time to make videos. If you haven't subscribed, as I say, please do. Let me know your thoughts and comments and questions underneath this video. I'll always read all of them. But for now, my name's Andy. I'll catch you all again soon.